friends, welcome officially to the Health is Wealth Vlog Diaries Vloggeries. So this is going to be kind of a little mini series that I'm going to do for a few weeks here on my YouTube channel that is going to be centered all around like health and wellness, getting back on track, focusing on feeling good physically, mentally, emotionally, and just like setting up healthy habits. And as a result, you know, getting stronger, losing weight, feeding myself better, feeling a little bit more zen, etc., etc. And really what inspired me to do this Health is Wealth Diaries is that I've been, like a lot of us, I've been on a roller coaster ride with like my health, and I have really bad habits that I'm trying to break and really good habits that I'm trying to form. And it did start with like me wanting to lose some weight, but I don't want that to be the ultimate target. So what I'm really trying to accomplish here is to get stronger and to feel better about my body. And that just so happens to be through nutrition, fitness, and like mindfulness. And I just have a basic framework for that. I'm trying to cut down on processed food. I want to cook more, and I want to learn how to actually like make more of my own meals with like fresh ingredients. I have a few very generic staple recipes that I kind of cycle over and over. And then I have a few like not the greatest recipes that I use. So I'm trying to just find more recipes that are really nutrient dense and that are going to give me the right kind of energy. The second thing that I'm focusing on is movement. One is through like increasing my step count every day, and not necessarily through like workouts, but just like being active all day long, and also through getting stronger. Like I just want to feel stronger. Once upon a time, I was a lot stronger. I did aerial silks. I had like some guns. I had back muscles. And this series is not to think about the past and what's already happened. This series is to think about the present and the future. But all I'm saying is I know that I was strong back then. I can get strong again. And I've lost a lot of that strength, and I can tell the difference. And then the third one is really just more of like a wellness, mindfulness kind of goal for me, is to be a little bit more present, a little bit more like grounded. I feel like I'm constantly rushing myself to do things that aren't even super time sensitive. So I think a big thing for me for the Health is Wealth series is going to be to just like slow down, be focused, and like focus on the task at hand, whether that be making a nutritious meal for myself, going to the grocery store, doing a workout, going on a walk, cleaning my office, like whatever it is that I'm doing to feel better. I want to just be focused on it and not have to like feel like I'm rushing through something for some reason. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like the universe knew that I wanted to start my Health is Wealth series vlog today because, of course, it's the first day of Shark Week. So it hasn't really truly kicked in yet, like all of my symptoms. So I'm still peppy and happy and feeling pretty good, but I'm feeling like tomorrow might be a hard day for me. So I'm going to just try to make as many good choices today so that I can take it a little slower tomorrow if I need to. So I just had dinner. I'm gonna go on a walk now, now that it's finally cooling down, and then we will settle down for the night. Okay, it's kind of been a chaotic week between like me period and just like not feeling well, and that's pretty much it, my period. Not feeling well. So it's just, I've had like an off week, and I don't know if anyone else goes through this, but like I get like a surge of energy right before my period, and then I feel like crap, and then afterward it's kind of like a little bit of like the blues. It must be something to do with my hormones. So I'm going to make this crockpot recipe that I've seen on TikTok a few times, just so that I can like set it and forget it and have something delicious and nutritious to eat. So I'll show you what I make. I'm gonna start with just like it's about 2 pounds of chicken. Yeah, I've just been doing a lot of thinking about food and just like thinking about how important food is in our lives, and yet how convenient it is to eat food that is bad. And just trying to reframe my mind around like food, right? Because I definitely have some internal, like deep internal labeling on like good food versus bad food, and also a lot of like comfort around food that I developed when I was younger, as like a coping mechanism. So I've just been thinking that like if I'm really going to focus on my health and wellness, that's really going to be something that I have to actively unlearn, and try really hard to like work around. Like I feel like that is my root cause of my problems with food, is using it as comfort and then labeling things as like bad, so I don't have a healthy relationship with what I'm eating. Okay, so I've put the chicken in here. I'm just gonna season it with like a bunch of stuff. I honestly don't even know if these are the seasonings in the recipe, but this is like my go-to, and I don't trip too much on seasoning. I just put a lot and usually works out. So I'm gonna start with some onion powder, and all I have in here is chicken so far. Season with your heart, babes. Especially if you're doing chicken breast, you can't, I don't think you can over season a chicken breast, because I'd rather over season it and I cut it with like some veggies than have it be bland and dry. Actually, the first time that I lost weight, this is garlic. The first time that I lost weight, I had like no concept of like making a nutritious meal. And so what I would do is I would just buy chicken breasts, boil them in like a little bit of salted water, and then that's what I would eat for lunch. Like a boiled chicken breast, not even shredded. Like I would just take the boiled chicken breast, put it in a Tupperware with some broccoli, steamed broccoli, and that's what my lunch was, and usually my dinner too. And it wasn't good. Like I didn't like love it, but I knew, hey, it's just chicken and broccoli, like what can go wrong? And now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like you could have seasoned it, you could have grilled it, you could have done a little bit of extra something. Like you can eat that level of clean and lose weight, but you can also season your food and lose weight. So I mean, the choice is yours. Some paprika, and I'm gonna do some thyme, and I'm gonna do a little bit of cumin. This is like my secret ingredient that I add to my chicken, just a little bit, and oh my gosh, so delicious. And I'm gonna add just a drizzle of avocado oil. I'm not gonna salt it because the recipe calls later for this like onion dip, and if you look at the sodium, it's like the salt is there. And that's something that me and my husband are looking out for, just like trying to make sure we're not overdoing it on the salt. We're not limiting it all the time, but salt can add up if you're not careful. Like it's sneaky, it's like sugar, it's like in everything. Okay, now I'm going to wash and cut some of these little red potatoes. Be right back. Okay, like right now, my default is being like, I don't know if I should add potatoes to this recipe. And I'm trying to be like, you can. Doesn't mean you're gonna eat all of the potatoes in one sitting, but you can have like a couple potatoes with your meal. It's not bad. I love this feeling that I'm like a little mini cooking show here. I grew up watching Alton Brown. Did anybody watch that show, Good Eats? And I was obsessed with that show. Like, he's so good as a host, and then the premise of the show is like he cooks things, but he teaches you kind of like the science behind why certain cooking methods work, and like foods and go together and things like that. And I love it. It's so quirky and educational. And I actually That was like a few years before I made a science show for kids that we toured to a bunch of different places. And when people would ask me like, you know, what inspired you like to make this show this way? Was it Bill Nye the Science Guy? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. But really what inspired me was Alton Brown. I just loved his style, and I thought about that show a lot when I made this science show for kids, funny enough. So shout out Alton Brown. I kind of feel like I should look up that show. Is it still streaming somewhere? That was a really good show, and it made learning about food really fun. So I'm actually cutting these potatoes like into quarters because I don't want such big pieces of potato per bite. And I'm putting them on top of the chicken, but like on half of the side. Potato. There's also a recipe that I keep seeing that's like smashed oven baked potatoes. Like people boil them and then you like smash them with a cup and then you put them in the oven to get crispy. They look so good, and then people drizzle like butter and garlic over it. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I'll have to make that, not today, but it's on my list of like when I want to, you know, make a little something extra special in the kitchen. I'm gonna make some smashed potatoes. Okay, now what I'm adding to the other side on top of the chicken are just these green beans that are rinsed and have the ends cut. So then on top of that, oh here, I'll just show you what it looks like so far. We have like potatoes and green beans, and under that are the chicken breasts that were seasoned. So now on top of this, I'm also gonna add a little bit of garlic and onion powder. A little bit more. I don't know if this is the recipe I saw. I just remember that at this point they like added more seasoning on top. So that's what I'm gonna do. Delicious, okay. And then I think this is like what makes it special is the onion soup mix. Ooh, there's 2 packets. I think I'm only gonna use one. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I wanna eat it. I wanna eat it right out the bag. Go. And then the last thing we're gonna add on top is some melted butter with garlic in it. So I have to make that in the microwave, so BRB. Does anybody else's minced garlic, specifically the one from Costco, it gets so hard. The seal, it's ridiculous. I have to run it under hot water every single time. This might be overkill on the garlic because I seasoned the chicken with garlic, I seasoned the veggies with garlic, and then I put minced garlic in the melted butter. But that's like what I saw in the recipe. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I like to just watch the recipes and like learn them, like internalize them, and then go in the kitchen to just kind of like do my thing. It's very rare that I will pull up the recipe again while I'm cooking, and sometimes that leads to a lot of bad mistakes, and sometimes like I make up other things that taste so delicious. Okay, let me show you what we got before we turn it on. Okay, first layer is chicken breast, seasoned. We have potatoes, we have green beans, more seasoning, and then we have melted butter with some garlic. And we are going to set this on high for like 4 hours. Maybe I'll check it out like the 3-hour mark. We'll see what we're working with, but yeah. So it'll be ready to go for dinner because it's just about lunchtime right now. I will put a photo maybe of the finished meal at the end, but just want to end the vlog here and say thanks for following along if you're still watching, and I hope that you are also brainstorming ways that you can make your daily life a little bit healthier, a little bit wealthier, and I know I am. I learned a lot from this chaotic week that was supposed to be like my kickoff, but the point of this is not of like, oh, I didn't have a good start, or like, oh, I have to start over. It's just to start getting into the habits of building good habits, and that's going to be a process that looks like this and hopefully trends upward, but definitely not a linear process. So I'll see you next time, and we'll catch back up on what's going on with health and wealth. See you later.